Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's me. It's Grub. It's Bush McCray. But first
took away. Dance with this. Get your money's worth now.
Summer League leader in the building, man. I got my guys with me. We here to talk about some selfish ass basketball. But before we get into that, you know what I'm saying, we want to give a shout out to Scott Vicknair. Want to give a shout out to 4D, Taz, Sunshine, Blue Moon, Theo's, Company Burger, if I'm forgetting anybody.
John Deere, shout out. I don't know if you said them.
I said it, but let's say it again. It's all good.
Nothing runs like a deer, though. So there it is.
There we go.
About the only running that happened out there today.
Man, so we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that definitely. Chat, what's up with y'all? If y'all got any thoughts, put them in the comments. We definitely go tap in. Grub, Ross, you know, we were texting the whole game. Lakers won tonight. If anybody who was unaware of it, 94-81. The Pelicans had 0 assists in the second half. 0. That is, I've never seen that done in basketball. I don't think I've ever been a part of a game or watched a game where 0 assists have happened. Grub, I'm gonna just start with you. You and I were talking because I mean this is what the people here for, right? Like they want to talk about. We here to talk about the rookies, right? You and I were talking before the show started, and you said I don't want to step on your words. I'm gonna let you say what you said. We just gonna talk about it.
All right. Look, in recent Pelicans history, since Zion Williamson got here, right? The summers that we got excited is because those rookies came in and you identified really quickly, okay, these guys look like they're ready to play. That first year when Zion came out, you know, the pull, taking the basketball from Kevin Knox and dunking it, and you were like, okay, this kid will be able to play in the NBA. You knew immediately. Jackson Hayes, I think in his first or second game, that's I remember posterized somebody. We're like, oh, this kid Jackson Hayes, he's got athleticism. That's crazy. You saw some things out of Nikhil that got people excited. And by and large, their rookie years, they all performed about where they were supposed to be. The next time we were excited about a rookie class was when Trey, Herb, and Jose came in. And that summer, they went 5-0 that summer. You know, they didn't make the championship that summer, but they were jumping around like they were the unofficial Summer League champs. They went undefeated. And you could tell that summer that Herb Jones was ready to play basketball, even though he didn't have a great scoring summer. He looked like an NBA player. You could see that Trey Murphy could shoot the basketball. All that stuff was evident from the first game. For everything that you could be encouraged about in game one, that was all gone tonight. Like, it's not a disaster in the sense that, oh, these kids are going to have terrible careers. But when you're telling me that you took both of these guys in the top 13 and they're supposed to be primary rotation players for you on a season that you have declared that you were all in on, they're not ready. They're not ready. Your second-year players are not ready. And what you can say after 2 games is the 2 players who've played the best will not even be on your roster on opening night. Lester Quinones and Antonio Reeves. Neither one of those guys will be playing on opening night, or they shouldn't be, but they've been by far your 2 most consistent players. And what you've seen out of your rookies is one looks confused and the other one looks lackadaisical.
You know, Ross, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot to talk about during this game, but I want to address your you had some concerns in the chat. Like you want to, again, I don't want to step on your words. Like you want to express what it is that you felt about the game.
Yeah, well, and I mentioned this to you guys before we started live, but I just want to read it now because I sent Grub this text on, this was Wednesday at 11 a.m. I said, these were the exact words I said. Can't wait to see what the future holds, but I like where we are. This is as excited as I have been since we started this BKM, entering a summer league. I'm just praying it's not a complete dumpster fire of a season, anything other than that, and this has potential to be really fun. I was optimistic Wednesday at 11 a.m. Like very, very optimistic Wednesday at 11 a.m. I could not be any less pessimistic sitting here doing this show at 10:30 p.m. on whatever day, Saturday. I just don't see a lot to be positive of. And I mean, my poor wife who has to be around me while I watch this at one point was like, why don't you just turn it off? Because it's just radiating throughout our living room about how poor I really think this situation is. You know,
what about it is the most contentious point for you? Like what is
that I just saw nothing but incredibly low IQ basketball for 2 straight games. I don't see. You can go to the local LA Fitness or Tulane's like open gym, and you can find basketball. Lido, they just played a whole half of basketball and didn't get an assist. I don't need to delve further into that. In what is basically glorified pickup basketball, which is kind of what summer league is. It's about, hey, let's show our talent, let's hustle, let's see who's in shape, let's see who wants to kind of make themselves the alpha dog amongst their peers, right? We all just got drafted, right? You got some second year guys. All of that stuff. We don't have anyone. I don't see anyone, and I think look, Fears is out there trying. I think from his perspective, it's a little different. My opinion of him is a little different than Queen. He's trying, but I don't see through 2 games like, here's the guy that's going to lead us, in 2 years. Like, this is the guy that's going to, is going to be our lead guard that gets us to the second or third, a conference finals. I just don't see that yet. And that's probably, that may be unfair. And I'm willing to say that might be unfair to make that assessment at this point of that kid. Right. And I think what I'm saying is there's a long way to go. Not that he can't get there, not that he can't improve. I'm not saying that he can improve. I've seen some competitiveness out of him. I've seen some willingness to go downhill and try to get to, I've seen some good things, but I don't see somebody that's going to help you win games this year. And I think more critically, I was very, very, very optimistic about what Derek Queen would show in summer league. And I've seen the opposite. The fact that we are now dealing with another forward who, in my opinion, needs to get in shape, needs to take basketball more serious, needs to find a way to increase his energy level, needs to find a way to increase his endurance. All of those things are just so concerning to me, given some of the recent history of this team. I'm so concerned.
Chris, my brother in film review, you look like you don't pass the basketball when you play. What does anything Ross and Grubb like? I guess because we talking about contentious points, like what was it? What is it for you? Like, what is the biggest point of contention for you right
now? Controlling the things that you can control. Like this. You're looking at a bunch of guys on a team that don't complement each other, and it's a summer league team. Like, it's just sometimes it's the luck of the draw and how that works. Bunch of selfish basketball, cool. Like no assists, and part of that, look, it's just bad basketball. Like Fears threw, I forgot who it was that on the backdoor cut threw a nice bounce pass. Guy ended up dropping the ball. Messi dropped the ball a couple times. Derek Queen threw a wraparound pass on the drive to Messi. He dropped the ball. Like, so there were opportunities there, but I mean, it's not this isn't a summer league roster that I think is built to necessarily to wow you with the ability to play team basketball, unfortunately. But I go back to controlling what you can control, because if you're Derek Queen, for example, you got to control the effort that you put out there. Now, and it's an interesting balance, because we've watched enough power forwards and centers over our time. Lido, you've been a power forward and center since you were 4. Grubb, I'm sure when you were growing up, you were a power forward and center. Like, give me the fucking ball, and give me the ball early. And then I'll do some of these other glorious things. But unfortunately, when you a rookie, and he gonna have to learn this, you don't really have that luxury necessarily. So it's a weird balance of like, I need to be featured. I want the basketball to bring out my best energy, but at the same time, knowing that you are a rookie, you are a 6th or 7th or 8th man, then there are other things that you need to do before you are having, and maybe years before you're having the opportunity to be featured like you were at Maryland. So that part, I mean, outside of that, man, I can't name you. I mean, I watched a little bit of Keon Brooks, but I can't name you a bunch of guys that I think we're gonna be talking about that are playing or in contention for actual minutes playing Pelicans basketball. So it's kind of mixed for me because it was terrible all around.
That you make some really some interesting statements there, Chris, and I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of it, with the exception of that last part, which was, and this could be more on me than you, is that I went into the summer league thinking we do have a lot of players that are going to be getting minutes next year. One, the guy that started at center for you last year, I think he's been awful. I think he has been just I think he's. We could spend a 30-minute segment if y'all want talking about Reeves. That's how bad I think he's been. I have not seen one positive. He is exactly who he was last year. He is exactly what I thought he was, and that is what it is. It's not so much a negative that I'm saying like, oh, this guy doesn't belong in the NBA. He just hadn't gotten any better or worse. He just is what he is. But in either case, he started last year and you didn't address the center position this year, so he's gonna play. You drafted Fears 7 overall, and DeJounte ain't playing. Herb, I think he's gonna play, but he's coming off an injury. I don't know. I mean, you traded for Poole, okay, but Fears is he's gonna need to play, I think.
Mm.
And Derek Queen. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what? Because to me, it's like 4 players. It's Queen, it's Fears to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally,
Yeah.
For me. It's Misi and maybe Reeves. Those are the 4, right? Is it somebody else I'm missing?
No, but I think outside of Reeves, the other 3 have looked awful. And I guess that's my that's my concern is that, yeah, sure. Once you get to the 6th, 7th, 8th person in a summer league team, I agree with you to a certain extent. I just don't care. But of that core, I do care, and I just haven't really seen much that's given me a lot of optimism. And I think I said this in our chat is, look, if you were sitting next year with 2 picks, including one being your own, hey man, cool. Yeah. Maybe we draft a bunch of young cats. We'll see what happens. We're gonna run them out there and see what happens. But you took that away. And I say I'm talking about the organization. So I can't give you that benefit. I can't do that. I have to evaluate what I see today, because I think these guys are, in theory, supposed to help you win some games this year. And then if not, right? I guess, Chris, what I'm trying to say is, the way I feel is that you gave away the argument that, well, we have a lot of young players. You've got to give this time.
Mm.
You gave that argument away when you made some of the moves you made. And so what can the organization tell me or people that maybe feel like me based on what I've seen through 2 games to give me optimism? What can you tell me? Because I know it ain't picks. You can't pull the David Griffin and say, look, hey, but we got this war chest. So what is your retort to that, to say well, here's the optimism for next year? What should I be looking forward to?
I mean, I'm just not looking for optimism out of summer league. Ideally, I would like Derek Queen and and Fears to have looked differently. But if they set the world on fire, would that make me think
Sure.
differently about? Huh?
Chris, and you hadn't come on when I said this, but the rookie classes that we have been excited about, they showed out in those summer leagues. You know what I'm saying? They weren't perfect players, any of them. But you remember that first summer league with Herb and Trey and Jose and Najee? You knew all those guys were NBA players when you saw them, right? They went 5-0 in that summer league. You know what I'm saying? You knew those guys could play basketball. The same when Zion and Nikhil and Jax came their first year. Remember? Zion that first game, you're like, oh, he can play at this. Jax posterized somebody, we're like, oh, Jax
they still show that highlight. That's about the only thing Jackson's done in his career.
Right? But you knew in those moments, you were like, these guys are NBA players. They're ready to at least play in this league right now. The other years, Kyra, Jordan, Dyson. Dyson came back his second year. And remember, we saw some expansion of his game. But first year, he was embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Like Dyson looked completely lost offensively his first year in summer. So what we've seen is, no, the games have not been perfect. But we've seen the things that you expected to see out of the guys that you wanted to see. And so far during these first two games, I would say you thought that they would build on game one. To me, it looked like from game one to game two, they regressed. Like you didn't see the adjustment that you thought for Derek Queen, you thought coming into this game, your attitude should be different. You should be like everybody said, even if you didn't get the ball, everybody said to you, you got to be more active. You got to do these things. For Eve, you came back game two, they told you, you got to finish around the basket. That's what they said. After you get these opportunities, you have to finish around the basket. He looked timid. For Fears, it was make better decisions, change your pace, don't turn the basketball over. Well, he didn't have a bunch of turnovers, but he didn't create anything for anybody else. Again, the problems of an 18-year-old. He's got 2 assists in 2 games. Peavy wasn't there, so we didn't get to see him. But the messed up thing is Peavy's the first injury of the new season. You know what I'm saying? Like we couldn't even get into 2 games without a player losing a player's game to injury already. But it's just these guys are supposed to be top. At least they're supposed to be top 9 in your rotation. Your 2 rookies, right? Your first rounders. They're supposed to be top 9 in your rotation. You don't take guys at 7 and 13 on a team that's expecting to compete for the playoffs and say that they're not in your top 9 in your rotation. If they are, you're going to struggle because neither one of them can defend at this level. Neither one of them is going to be able to like for Queen, and we talked about this. I think we talked about you can't play him at the 4. Because he can't defend the 4. He's not going to move. So you can't play him at the 4. So you got to play him at center. And how's he going to defend at center? You still got Eve there and you got Looney there. So how many minutes can you play Queen at center? Because you cannot. He's being exposed defensively at the very least. He's not going to give you any defensive presence because all you're going to do is take a mobile 4 out on the perimeter and just kill him off the dribble defensively or just cut him back door to death because he misses so much. So it's just like they're not ready. And I think, like Ross said, it's not that they won't ever get there. It's not that, but they ain't ready now. And the timeline has been messed up because Joe Dumars is promising winning now. And it doesn't seem like these kids are ready to contribute to winning.
Grub, let's stay here for Chad join the show. Chad, what's popping, bro?
What's popping? How you doing, brother? How y'all doing?
We Grub, you and I, we talked about on the news the day Antonio Reeves was released. Me and you talked and we felt that it was a mistake. It's looking like they may need to give that brother his 2-way back. Like
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, what he's averaging 15 points a game. He's shooting 50% from the field. He had 20 tonight. He and again, he didn't shoot a volume of threes, but we know he's not getting his catch and shoot. He's a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. He's not going to dribble into the 3. When he's dribbling into the 2. And he got his shots. He knocked down his shots and he's shooting 50% from the floor through these 2 games. He's looked as their best, most versatile offensive player. And Quinones has looked good, on the 2-way, but Hunter Dickinson has looked terrible through 2 games. So it's like, yeah. I think that giving that spot away for Reeves is at the very least, this is why I'm surprised Jordan Hawkins isn't down here. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were Jordan Hawkins, you can't let this dude keep hanging around. Like, he is coming to take your spot. He's trying to take your spot. And if you're Jordan Hawkins, what are you doing this offseason to keep this dude at bay? Because Antonio Reeves, he didn't come down here to play. You know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to save his career. And I think that he's showing it. He's doing whatever he has to do in the minutes that they've given him. And he's jumping off the screen. Like Chris said it earlier, and I let him say it, but there ain't many people that you looked at tonight and said, oh, he's playing smart basketball. Antonio Reeves through both games has been one of those people.
Chaz. And getting Chaz on the show, everybody. Give us your thoughts on what we talked about. We talked about the rookies. We kind of talked about, you heard us talk about Reeves. We kind of talked about Joe's movement of players or lack of picks at this point going into next season. Give us your thoughts on what you saw about the summer league game.
Play this. It's funny that it ended on Reeves making smart plays, and this was probably one of the worst possessions Reeves had of the game.
How many possessions have we seen where the ball literally never is passed? Feels like the entire season. I would have a hard time coaching a summer league team that had 0 assists in the first half and not in the second half.
I just got to be totally apolitical. I think this was another coaching disaster. I think when you go into first possession of the game, I saw what they were trying to do first possession of the game. They try to post up Queen on the right post. Ball gets deflected out of bounds. I knew they made an effort to do that because like one possession later, they did it again. I can't spend the entire summer or years at this point in my case talking about how bad Willie Green and their staff is, and then all of a sudden the staff becomes infallible. This is a BYOB team. You bring your own bag. All of the players who have succeeded so far in the summer league, particularly with this roster, they're already good at the things they do. Antonio Reeves, incredible scorer at Kentucky. Queen, you see what he can do in isolation and bringing the ball up the court when he got a head of steam passing. That's what he does. His motor was already his motor when he got here. Like I watched y'all did a great show on it, and I watched a ton of film on Queen. Had utility sports on here. This is the guy I always saw. And me being a person who's seen Zion these years, I know these type of players, when they don't get the ball early, when they don't get fed early, it's the reason why Queen looks better when Fierce is off the court a little bit in the second half or when Eve is off the court, because he got the ball. He controlling the offense. Like, I don't want to live in this is my perspective. I don't want to live in an ideal world that these guys are going to become something that they currently aren't under this particular staff. Because to me, half the battle, these aren't some bona fide number one generational picks. These guys have, some flaws. You saw with Fierce tonight, one of his flaws is finishing at the rim. That was a part of his problem in college, shooting and finishing at the rim. Queen, his problems was, of course, shooting and his motor. Dude like that, it just is what it is. I can't be like, well, you need to play harder. You want to play harder? Give him the ball 4 or 5 times in the beginning. That's just who he is. You got to do that in this scenario because this is the only time you will be doing it. In the NBA season, he not getting it. He's not starting probably.
Does he?
Yeah, I can't presume that
you cater, Chaz.
What I'm
usually
saying,
agree on a lot of stuff. I really couldn't disagree more with you.
But my thing is, why would he? Why would he think that? Who would he start over realistically?
Why would he think he needs to come and play hard during summer league?
No. He's saying start over.
I'm saying in the regular season. He's not getting the ball 4 or 5 times. I'm saying for him playing hard in summer league, you gotta give him the ball.
Who the hell do you think you are? This is insane to me. Like I can't. Chaz, I've never disagreed with you more on anything in the 5 years, however long we've been doing this together.
I understand. I understand your perspective.
Who does he think because if you're telling me if your opinion, and I don't care, I'm saying you, but I mean if this is Brewer's coaching the team, whoever, if you were telling me that a guy that was tumbling down the draft that you moved up to get because you like the talent, all this other great, this, that, and the other, doesn't feel the urge to play hard in summer league, which is I think what you're telling me. If you're not catering to him and giving him the basketball, then boy, did you make a disaster of a pick. I mean, good God, you got to get out in front of that today. I
don't know how you get out in front of this particular situation because he was intriguing. Now, total transparency, I didn't love the idea of drafting the Queen, but I still think the talent is there. I can recognize the talent, but the things I saw on film are the things I see now. I think Derek Queen is designed to be more of an offensive hub. I think your offense more so has to revolve around what Derek Queen can do. Personally, I don't think Derek Queen in a point guard makes much sense. I think drafting Derek Queen was kind of like maybe a best player available type thing. But at the same time, it's the same thing with Zion. If I take Zion out of the equation, or if I take certain guys out of the equation, I saw it with Brandon a little bit as well, to where like, yo, I need the ball. This is how I get engaged into the game. With these fucking scrubs, upperclassmen players, or with dudes who like, have a lower upside or limited ceiling. I don't care what like what they do. Like this, I'm talking about this is like, if I'm speaking for Derek Queen, which I'm not really in position to do, but just knowing these type of people, I don't really care what they do. What you do with them is whatever. Ain't no in the world, Keonis, Antonio Reeves, none of these dudes who fighting for the NBA life should ever be a priority over me. First 3-4 possessions in the real game, when the real game start, yeah, I'm way down the pecking order. But first 3-4 possessions, give me the ball. Give me the ball. Like we running the ball. You got motherfucking OJ Simpson here. You got Jim Brown here. Give me the ball. And look, even if you don't think he's that talented, you drafted him like he is. So if you Joe Dumars and you looking at this coaching staff, and this coaching staff has had trouble historically maximizing some of its more talented players, there's a reason that the motherfuckers who played basketball 3, 4, 5 years come here and drive. They've been playing basketball at a high level 3, 4, 5 years. Antonio Reeves, 4 or 5 year player. Najee, Jose, Trey was an upperclassman. Herb, former SEC player of the year. PV, role playing glue type guys, right? With dudes like this who got temperamental issues or who have motor issues, you're not accommodating. You doing your job as a coach. You got to do what makes them tick. Everybody. Like
you drafted Fears before him, though, Chaz. Like, what do you? I can't.
No, but what I'm
saying,
saying, but
is a crazy notion to me.
Fears,
Like,
you know what I'm saying? But Fears didn't have those same question marks. Fears didn't have motor question marks. Fears, of course, look at how ambitious this guy is. He jumped a year early, and
Chaz, I don't want to catch up, but the biggest argument I have against what you're saying is that's fine if you're telling me that he's not engaged or whatever because he didn't get, then this is just absurd for me to be thinking for a guy in his situation. But if you're telling me that those things are true, okay, fine. It doesn't change what he's done when he has gotten the basketball, which has been looked incredibly slow and out of shape and been last up and down the court. There was a point, I'll have to go clip it up later, but like there was a point where 9 straight possessions, he was last.
I remember you saying
going to offense and then going back to defense. He was the last person crossing midcourt, both teams. That doesn't have anything to do with him getting the basketball. Nothing.
I think it does.
You know what? Then walk. Then fucking he can walk. Todd. If you're telling me right now that matters in summer league for that guy, bingo.
Bro,
see it.
Look,
then this is a disaster, and Dumars should be. Then you get rid of all of it.
Now, this is not, and I'll pass it. Now, this is not anything I know for a fact, right? But when I first heard about him dropping in the draft, in my mind, I was like, it's probably a bad interview. And on top of that, once I heard about the conditioning thing, I'm like, oh yeah, of course. I can see like this is visual. Like you can see this in this film, in my opinion. I just think that you gotta dance with who you bro here with. Like in my mind, I can say, well, I want it to be this way. But it's like, no, this dude is who he is. And as a head coach, not that Corey Brewer's a head coach, but I'm saying whoever the coach is, your job is to maximize what we have here. Like, you know what I'm saying? If Herb not a good rebounder, I need to focus on people game rebounding. I need a defensive center. Or if this person's not a good shooter, I need to not park him in disadvantageous positions. At a certain point, it's up to the coaches at a certain point to start coaching these dudes up and start inspiring and start maximizing.
You can't coach effort, man. You can't coach effort. And that part, like that just you can't make a dude want it. You can't make him come in and feel like he has to prove it, because any player that we talk about among the greats, any player that you would say is an all NBA player, every one of them, if we go down the list, you saw it from day one. You saw it in Shea from day one. We all knew his rookie year. I remember we came to New Orleans that first week of the season. That was the year the Anthony Davis, remember he was rookie of the year. Anthony Davis has to get traded. He played in New Orleans the third game. And you could tell Shea was going to be something. Like he just moved that way. And it's like Fears has some of that movement. I'm not going to take that away from that young man. He just ain't ready. I mean, a point guard in 18 ain't going to be ready. But for Queen to not run, like if you're going to fail at 100%, dude. And it's like max it out. Whatever. I mean, and people were talking about, no, I saw Jokic day one. Jokic was out of shape, but effort was never the question with Jokic. When we compare to guys like it compares game to Şengün, the effort was never the problem with Şengün. The effort has never been the problem was never the problem for Boogie Cousins. If we talk about all these guys, there were parts of their personalities or their games that needed to be refined. But the effort was never a question for those guys. And for us to be questioning Derek Queen's effort after 2 games, we questioned it in game 1. We questioned it in game 2. That's a big problem for Derek Queen. Now, he's the only one. There is no coach that can make him realize that this is his career. He is a professional now. And if you don't want to run up and down the floor, man, like if you don't want to do that now, and you ain't even getting a check yet. Like you have no stripes, you got no skins on the wall, and you're not running. Like that part, like there are times he wasn't even on the screen getting back. Like the game had moved on, and he was still in the backcourt. And it's just like you can't do that, man. You can't do that.
Russ, you said you watched Chris and I's breakdown the Queen, and you said that it's not the same player you saw on the film. Can you care to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, I sure do. Because I did watch that, and it was the episode where Chris, I believe, had his name as Bonzi Wells, which I still have questions about why Chris named himself Bonzi Wells for that episode. But that's here nor there. But when you go watch what you guys clipped up, and obviously it was highlights, right? I mean, you guys are finding the positives from his season at Maryland. And look, to be totally transparent, I didn't watch every Maryland game, okay? I mean, I watched the tournament game, and I watched you guys, like the breakdown y'all did. I didn't see a human being moving this slow. Like, I don't, I mean, and I don't mean jogging up and down the court. I mean, with the basketball, like I saw more decisiveness. I saw more assertiveness. I saw catch and move. I saw more physicality. I didn't see this guys, he's moving like he's got cement in his shoes. Okay. And that's what I mean by like, I think he looks very out of shape. That is the most concerning thing to me. I've seen skill. He's done stuff where I've said like, oh yeah, skill. Like I see it. I see the passing. I see that he's looking in the right spot. I see that even though the handle looks kind of loose, it's the right idea. I see that he's got a Euro step when he's in traffic, right? And there's people in front of him and it's a way to get free. I see that he shoots over the top. I see things. What I also see is that he looks incredibly out of shape. That is concerning to somebody like me. This is summer league. Like, look, if you wanted to tell, because I think, you know what? In fact, I was about to make a Cooper Flag example, but like, I think this was a thing for Zion, right? Where they were like, yeah, he's a little bit out of shape, but it's because he had to go to Japan and he had to go do an NBA tour and whatever, because he was the first pick and he had to do all this shit, all this media shit. And they were like, you really hadn't been, he hadn't been able to do anything or whatever. All right. Well, he doesn't have that excuse. He didn't get drafted first overall. He's not Zion Williamson. Like, what the hell you been doing, dog? Like, like for me, this is problematic. This is your job now. I give you no excuse. There is no if he had gone. It's funny. We all chatted earlier about the Carter Bryant thing because somebody said they thought he was playing well, and I was like, yeah, but he can't. He don't look like he knows where that he can't throw it in the ocean. This, that, and the other. And like, yeah, but he's out there doing X, Y, Z, right? Like It's one thing if he was playing at the speed I expected him to be playing at and he wasn't making shots or he was turning it over, like trying to force pass, all these other things that you expect from rookies, right? He's not doing that. He looks slow and out of shape. Like, I want Derek Queen to be awesome. I was very excited about him. I'm also going to keep it a buck. The dude looks slow and out of shape. He looks like he hadn't touched a basketball since whenever Maryland's last game was. That's my opinion, okay, from somebody who's seen him play twice. Like, does somebody have an argument for that? Do you have is there an argument for the fact that his feet look like they have cement in his shoes?
I mean, I actually I want Chris to answer this since we did the film. Like, what are you seeing or not seeing that he's like obviously we saw the film and he was great, right? I mean, I still think he has flashes. He is, like we was talking to Ivory, said he's all world skill. And I think that still rings true. What is it for you, to Ross's point, that is just not connecting?
I think specifically in the half court, he seems to be a little bit out of place, right? Like when he was at Maryland, he was in the half court. The spots that he would operate at are a little bit different than, say, what this particular period looks like. And this is just a transition, right? Like, I mean, this is like, a bunch of guys on temp jobs. So it's, it's, I see the same guy for the most part in transition off of rebounds and so on and so forth. But I could name you maybe twice or three times. I didn't really watch a whole bunch of the first game, but at least in this game, where I watched him throw the ball down to him in the post and have him really kind of create, which is what we saw a lot of the things in which Ross was talking about in the film breakdown. The processing element of it, he's learning. He's learning quickly that some of these shots that he would be able to take when he left college off one foot, it's not going to happen at the same time playing against even some of these guys, whether people in his rookie class or so on and so forth, or even a guy like Christian. I'm trying to think the center for the Lakers. Even someone like him who's been around. It's different. It's an adjustment period. That's what I see. I see somebody that's adjusting to playing against NBA styled or even guys that have had NBA minutes. Now, I mean, look, that's not an excuse for sleepwalking up the floor, but I ain't gonna kill him because it's been 2 games either. It's been, I've seen flashes of the guy in transition, but half court, couple things. Not just him seeing a little bit out of place and not really getting the ball in some of his areas, but there's no spacing for him. So where exactly do you want him to really do something with the basketball for someone who even at his, if you speed him up, if you put him in fast forward, he's still slow. You know what I mean? So like for it to work ultimately, even in the half court, I think if you want to see a better version of him, I don't know if him playing with Reeves is necessarily gonna work with this group of guys. There was no real other shooting out there outside of Antonio Reeves. Beers took a couple, but there was no real. I think Keonis made 1 or 2. He needs a little bit of space, I think, to ultimately work. But the same to the other side of that coin, there's some motor and there's a little bit of effort that he has to put in as well. It's a give and take in the league, man, But I mean, I listen, if you're telling me he's going to be paired with Reeves the entire season, you will see a lot more of this, to be honest.
I think the issue is he can't play, like, defensively. Where do you play him? Because he can't play like we said, he cannot play the 4. He cannot play the 4. So if you're playing him at the 5, no, of course, you will never be able to play him and Messi together. Like, you will never be able to put those two as 2 bigs on the same floor together. But you have to play him with people who can defend, because you got to protect him, because he's going to foul out real quick in the NBA. And I think people like we have to be clear with people. No one is saying that these young men are not skilled basketball players. That is not what anybody's saying. What we are saying is Joe Dumars clearly stated that this team is trying to win. Right? That's what Joe Dumars said. They are trying to win. And these 2 rookies who need to be at the top of your rotation, they need to be giving you consistent rotational minutes at some point during the season, both of them. They're not ready to do so now. That's what we know for sure. They are not showing that they are ready to do so now. That doesn't mean that it's over. But I would say today, and people can talk about, well, Reeves made a huge jump from last, but that jump also came because opportunity. He was forced into that thing. The Pelicans had nothing else to do but throw Yves Missi into the fire. They had nothing else they could do, and even then, it wasn't like, and they had no stakes. You weren't playing to win; it was over. Like, so, yeah, starting Yves Missi was low stakes. There are stakes this year. Everybody's job is on the line. So, do you think Willie Green, like y'all acting like Jose Alvarado, who's been at both of these games sitting next to his people, like he's gonna get them Jeremiah Fears minutes? Willie got to win games. So you think Jeremiah Fears is gonna get minutes to start the season? No. Willie's got to win games. Kevon Looney's gonna be playing 25 to 30 minutes at either the 4 or the 5. So it's like what's the problem is, and I'll have to concede to Chaz on this because Chaz talked about this to a degree. What you have done, and I talked about this too, is you have two teams on two different timelines. You have this older group of Trey, Zion, Herb, Jordan, Poole, and Kevon Looney, and then you have this other team that's all these kids in their first, second, and third years, and one is not built to supplement the other. That second group is not built to make that first group a playoff team. Even adding in Sadiq Bey, we don't know what he's going to be. But if you take those guys, those 6 guys that you have as starters, and you put those other players behind them, it still feels to me, and I said this on my podcast, it's a weirdly built team to me. And I don't see it. That's why I say 36 wins is what I'm looking at with this team. If you're fully optimistic, you get everything that you're supposed to get, maybe you get to a winning record. But this feels like a mediocre basketball team.
Ross, you said you wanted.
Yeah, and I don't want to derail. I mean, it feels like we've kind of moved past this Queen thing, but like just let this run for about 15 seconds and just watch the speed.
You know right away how you should be.
You could stop it. You could just stop it. Like right there. And it's just the speed of decision making, his feet, like
and the processing. He processing the game different.
But yeah, yes, Lito, yes. It's a slower processing. It's also a slower body movement. Like he's not moving that quickly. Okay. And for me, combined with the fact that I've actually watched these games and watched him run up and down the court I just ask you to just say, pull that up to again, highlight that I think he's out of shape. Okay. And I would rather like slam my head through this piano back here than have to continue to have conversations around forwards that are out of shape and can't play 35 minutes and can't maximize their talent on this roster. I just can't do it. I can't do this again. Like, and if Joe Dumars or whoever's in charge doesn't have enough gumption to do it, you got to get somebody else in charge. That's really all I bring that up to say.
Chad.
So what I'm curious about is like, I mean, everything that is said from that's critical in regards to Queen or even Fears, I think is fair. But I guess my thought is, man, it's 2 summer league games. Now, if we're talking about somebody that spends the rest of the summer league like this, and I think this needs more time. That's why I'm at with it. It needs more time. I can't just look at what I'm watching right now and look at a bunch of guys that are not going to be playing together for a short period of time and base my entire thoughts about these 2 young rookies and kind of make a decision on what I think that they're going to be going into the season and go from there. You know what I'm saying? Because like, yeah, Grub, you mentioned how well Herb, Trey, and Jose played. But even after how well they played, we still had questions about them going into the season. we still had a bunch of questions. We weren't saying that these guys were going to be like pillars of your rotation right away. Not all three of them.
She didn't have an effort question. Didn't have an
No,
effort
I mean,
question.
I understand that. No. I totally understand that. And everybody should be looking at that like, you know, you expect and you would want better from anybody that's out there at that point in time, because there are dudes that would live and die, or that would die to be in Queen's position, to be able to play with that effort and know that their roster spot is guaranteed. But all I'm saying is, if Derek Queen would have went out there and looked fantastic, Ross, you were talking about optimism, right? And I get it. You were talking about optimism. But if Derek Queen went out there and dropped 27 and 14 and looked to be the part, and the same for Jeremiah Fears in the first two games, what really would have changed? Would you have looked at that and said, well, they're for sure a playoff team now? Like, I mean, what to me, what really changes here?
Oh, a ton for me. A ton. I mean, we could have an hour
In 2
conversation.
Summer League games?
Yeah, 100%. Because
Wow.
I can no longer give you the benefit of the doubt because of the moves you made. You made moves that told me playoffs this year. You sacrificed next year for this year. I say you again. I'm talking about the organization. They did that. I didn't trade. Like, none of us sit here and said, "Hey, trade a potential lottery pick next year for Derek Queen." You did that, not me. Okay, and I thought in my head, well, Queen seems to have talent or whatever, and so yeah, I'm evaluating this upcoming season on the fact that, well, you drafted this one cat 7. I think he probably is good enough. You know, he should be able to play and help you win some games, right? And you moved up. You made an aggressive move, and not just an aggressive move up the draft day. You made a previous move where you gave away Indy's pick so that you could move to 23, so that you could then ultimately make this next move. So yeah, no, you don't get, like, I'm not waiting anymore. Like, this organization has been a dumpster fire. Like, I'm not passing the buck anymore. There is no tomorrow for me with these guys anymore. Like, field a fucking team that can get to the playoffs. And I think that's what the goal was going when you did all this stuff. I haven't seen one thing in this summer league that leads me to believe that you were any closer to the playoffs than you were before game 82 of last year. So yeah, no, I think the fact that they've looked pretty damn average or below average is incredibly concerning to me. And I'm not going to play this whole like, well, we need time thing. No, you got time. And unfortunately for Dumars, you stepped into a situation where I'm no longer, and now others may, and the organization, I'm sure Gail will and everybody else will. I will no longer afford you time because you gave away your time. He didn't have to make those moves. He could have sat here and punted to next year, just like David Griffin used to do. We got 2 picks next year. We're not going to rush the timeline. We're going to see what Zion can do. The whole song and dance we've been hearing. He chose not to do that. That's on you, player. Like, let's see. Let's see. And so far, it's been a fucking disaster, as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, I got this question for Chaz, but I want to hear y'all. I want to hear everybody's thoughts after this. After Chaz answers, what concerns you a little bit more, Chaz? The fact that Fears has struggled to knock down the shot, or the fact that his inability to get others involved?
Neither, honestly, because again, I watched a lot of film on him. Like you know, I just didn't. I already knew that his struggles at the rim were there and inconsistent, right? Mm-hmm. I also look at his ability to get to the rim. Like, there were 2 players in particular. One, Queen goes the entirety of the court. I'm sorry, Fears goes the entirety of the court, gets to the rim, gets blocked. But he got that. Like, he got there like quickly. Last possession with Antonio Reeves. Queen, he's running, he's sprinting, he's getting up there. Reeves never looks for him whatsoever, gets to the free throw line, and that's when the coach was like, the commenters was like, yo, what the fuck are the Pelicans doing? Like, this is terrible. I cannot absolve this coaching staff for the things I've seen in these past 2 games, because 6 assists is egregious, and that's an indictment on the entire system, because it ain't just like everybody was just missing shots. Motherfuckers wasn't really looking for each other like that. You got 3 or 4 guys, playing for their NBA lives. You got some people who, figuratively, those NBA lives are gonna die. Like, just keeping it a buck. So to me, this is not a place where you got one guy trying to be the focal point of the offense in Fears, right? He's doing his thing, he's trying to find a shot or what have you. He made some cool passes, guys aren't necessarily knocking the shots down. Had a really nice pass to Messi. Messi drops the ball, of course. You know what I'm saying? Queen, some nice passes. It don't work out necessarily. But 6 assists is an indictment on the entire staff, in my opinion. Because the game, like you can't do a simple pick and roll. You can't do a simple 2-man action. You can't, like, I watched Messi and Queen try to set a double screen. It was just terrible. Everything about this is terrible to me. And again, I can't spend the last X amount of years saying Willie Green is arguably the worst coach in the NBA, and then like be like, well, the players just got to figure it out. Like, it just I've seen NBA ready talent, real talent, like real deal veterans, not be able to overcome this coaching staff. Like, I've witnessed it in the regular season. To me, again, shit I see here, it ain't look that different from what I see in the regular season with this team. It just ain't. It just ain't motherfucking look that different. They had 82 games last season. I did 81 recaps. Like, I've seen it all with these dudes. Like, it just don't look that different. A lot of it to me is the coaching staff, and Corey Brewer took onus of the situation. Shout out to him. He was like, I got to figure out ways to get him involved. Like, that's not something you say if you don't recognize that you didn't get him involved. You don't script the first couple of plays to get him involved if you don't know that needs to be a point of emphasis. So that's what I'm saying. Nuance is important, but at a certain point, it's Uchiwali or one mic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Either the staff is bad or it ain't. Like, even they holding people back or they ain't. Like, they either this dude good or he ain't. Like, at a certain point, that's kind of how I look at, Summer League. And I also just think Summer League is kind of whack. I think it's a bad brand of basketball.
I want to hear y'all thoughts. I want to hear the rest of y'all thoughts on it too. Whether, as far as like the question about Fears' I guess lack of involvement with the team, his teammates, and his shooting. I think it's 5 for 21. And do you put that on coaching, or is that his modus operandum of just being a young point guard?
I think for Fears, I don't care if he misses these shots. I want him to be aggressive, taking shots. And you give him some leeway too on the number of assists, because there are guys who just can't catch the basketball when he's passing it to him. I'll give him credit for having a lot fewer turnovers. Again, only 2 turnovers in the second game. He had 7 in the first game, only 2 turnovers a night. That's better. You know what I'm saying? But like Chad said, if you watched his film, you knew he wasn't going to make the outside shot. So at the one thing I'm glad, he's not overshooting the 3. He's taking how many you should take? He should take 5. He's taking 5. He ain't making them, but he's taking it a reasonable amount. He's not overshooting the 3. He's trying to do what he does well: get downhill, get to the cup. But he's got to learn to play with this size. He's got to learn without space, like you said, all the things that are true. He is not getting the kind of space to operate that he's used to. They're not playing zone. These are not smaller players in the paint. So he's got to adjust to all that. Absolutely, I think that there are a lot of good things with Fears. So I'm not worried about his shots. He should take. He and Queen are supposed to be taking the most shots out of anybody on this roster in Summer League. So he's taking about 15 shots a game. Keep taking 15 shots a game. All those things have been good, but it's just when you say he's not ready, it's really hard to be ready as an 18-year-old point guard in the NBA. And people can't get mad because you're saying the kid's not ready. He's just not. Now, hopefully he gets ready quickly. But where in this league have you seen an 18-year-old come in and give quality minutes on a winning team at point guard? So, like, you just got to give the kid his room to fail. He's going to fail more often than he's going to succeed as a rookie, especially considering the situation is in. So it's going to just take time. But to think that he's going to be, like, again, just tell me, when have we had an 18-year-old who's a significant contributor on a playoff team?
For me, and this isn't a direct answer, I don't think, to Leo's question, because I agree with what Grubb just said. I don't care that he's not making shots. I think I said when they drafted Fears that he would probably shoot better in the regular season because of the type of shots he's going to get, and he's going to be playing with more creators. And I think a lot of the reasons that he's not shooting well in summer league is the same reason he didn't shoot well at Oklahoma, and it's because he's having to create a lot of stuff on his own and whatever. I care about effort. I care about identification of talent. I think Chaz said right when he got in that you see Fears getting downhill and getting to the basket. That I care about that. I making shots, we'll see. But the other piece I care about with summer league, and look, we all acknowledge it's bad basketball. I care about talent, right? Like that's what I care about. And we drafted Reeves Misi last year in the top 20. You moved up to get Queen, got Fears, took Reeves in the second round, and he played pretty well for you last year. Dominated the G League in the handful of games he played in. Like, and you got crushed today by a team of guys that aren't really aren't NBA players. Just let's talk about talent. Like a bunch of guys that are fringe NBA players or not on NBA rosters or haven't been in the NBA for quite a while. Like that to me is what's concerning. I don't care about winning these games. I care about what I see, but at the same time, it's about talent. And Chaz, I think you said this in the group chat. Like you don't see talent. You said I don't see talent. I don't either.
I think in context, I meant more so like no disrespect to Hunter Dickinson and some of the other guys, but it's just like it's about 6 players that really just could be exchanged for a creative player. Honestly, that's just the context I was saying.
Fair enough.
My bad.
But I also say for me, again, I just got to go back to the staff, man. Like Derek Queen post-practice interview is, hey, talk to Willie Green about putting the ball in your hands. Like, well, I ain't really talked to him yet about nothing in particular. And it was like, yo, that's a little troubling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now Willie Green ain't on the sidelines, but this is his staff. So I imagine the same principles apply. And shout out to Corey Brewer. It's Corey Brewer's second game. So, he admitted that, this is my first time, as a coach. So I need to do a better job. He took accountability. So I'm just, to me, I ain't taking too much from it. I do think that it was a low-hanging fruit point of emphasis should have been made to give Queen the ball early because he's closer to being a player that can contribute this year. I didn't expect Fears to play this year at all, honestly. I just think he's too young. But as far as with Queen being an older rookie prospect, having a game that could kind of transition a little bit easier, like he could get some 6-man type minutes, points off the bench, in spurts. Having that type of game, I think it was easier to play him or find minutes for him. But when you don't make him a point of emphasis in the summer league, I don't know what's going to happen with preseason, but you don't make him when he's arguably the most talented player on the floor. Like, I can't compare him to these 5th and 6th year guys. Like, some of these dudes actually play in the NBA. Like Antonio Reeves played in the NBA. He was a hell of a player in Kentucky. He played a lot of minutes in the G League.
Killed the G League.
Yeah, killed the G League, right? Like some of these dudes, another Trey Alexander, G League Rookie of the Year, been kind of bad, non-existent. He been non-existent. I'm gonna say that. It ain't like they drawing up shit for him. He been non-existent. So to me, it's just like I see talent kind of being wasted. Truthfully,
But do you think they're drawing stuff? I guess this is like because I feel like the G League, the handful of games I've watched, is basically summer league. I mean, you're out there playing mostly glorified pickup, and that's why I just can't. For me, it's absurd to focus on coaching at all because this is pickup. I mean, there's no practices. I mean, maybe you got a couple games of practice, but I mean, this is not. Who's the lady coaching for the Lakers tonight? Anybody ever heard of her?
Lindsey Harden.
She's the G League coach.
Yeah,
but, I mean, she was the G League coach of the year last year, I think. But,
well, there you go. All right, but I mean, the Spurs had a guy. I think the Spurs coach is a guy who's like in player development. He's like their director of player development. Never coached before. I mean, there's a lot of people that are not like whatever. A lot of people are just throwing somebody in there to coach the summer league team, and that's whatever. Because for me, I don't think it matters. It's really about talent. Like this summer league really is about like roll the ball out there and let's see the talent. And
Do you think
for
it
the
caters
most
to a
part.
particular type of player in summer league? Because I think if you can run and dunk, or if you're a guard, I think it caters a lot more to them versus
It's for
a
point guards and
methodical.
wings. It's for
Yeah,
point guards and athletic wings. That's what summer league is for. But but I think the thing that bothers you about the Pelicans again is just it just looks like they've been outworked in both of these games. You know what I'm saying? Like, take the coaching out of it. Like, if you weren't prepared and you just showed up, people shouldn't be outrunning you every time. People shouldn't be catching the ball better. Like, you know what I mean? Just other teams catch better than you.
They're all unprepared. My point is, they're all unprepared. Like, it's not like the Pelicans are no less unprepared than the other team. Like, there are teams that literally signed guys 4 days ago that are playing on their summer league team. Like, they're all unprepared. This notion that like we should be out coaching people or something is crazy. Like, you're just getting outplayed. You're not playing as hard as the other
that's
team,
the
or
part.
you're not as talented.
Getting outplayed.
Yeah, you're not as talented as the other teams. Like, this is not.
Well, what I mean is, like, again, they're not missing a bunch of wide open shots. Like they look a lot like the regular season Pelicans. Like, that's the thing I'm saying. They look a lot like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, y'all walking through the sets, no one can set a good screen, no one knows how to make an entry pass, and you got dudes. I think the staff minimizes some of the talent on this roster. I'm just being honest, because again, if everybody was a computer, then it'll be, well, fuck, everybody's effort and stamina.
But in the regular season,
Hold on. I'm saying, if everybody's a computer, then everybody's energy and effort and stamina starts at 99. But if you just on the game and you like, oh, he ain't give me the ball. All right.
Why the Pelicans always end up with these problems?
Like, bro,
why is it always the Pelicans ended up with these problems?
Yeah, Chance, wait, what is your question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you go ahead. I'll ask you afterwards.
No. It sounded like you're about to ask me something.
Well, I'm about to ask you. Like, you play football at a high level. Now, you know that if some motherfuckers, if they not getting a pass on this possession, they not running full speed through the play. Like, they're not gonna block as hard. They just like whatever. Like, and with the Pelicans, you see this for years with certain type of guys. That's why, to me, I'm dealing with who's in front of me, as in I know this type of player's temperament. So my job as a coach is I need to get him to buy in. I need to get him to tick. Everybody learns different. Like, some people self-motivated, some people ain't. If you got the skills, he either work investing in as a coach, or he just ain't. And if he ain't, then fuck, it is what it is. But if he is talented enough and work and investing in, then you need to find a coach or a staff or a strategy that gets him engaged, because you invested in him. Like, that's kind of, where I'm at with that.
And I think that's where we're, and I believe you're talking about Queen. I think that's where we're differing in our opinion. Mm-hmm. Is I don't believe it's been a lack of engagement. I don't necessarily even really been a lack of talent, because I've said on here 4 or 5 times just on this show that, like,
he's out of shape pretty much.
I think he's fucking out of shape. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with the team. I don't think it has anything to do with coaching. I don't think it has anything to do with anything at all. I think that's to do with he showed up out of shape. Like, I think if they gave him the ball more often, he would look even. I don't think you can give him the ball more often. Okay. Based on these first 2 games. I don't actually think it has anything to do with style or skill or coaching or any of that stuff. Like, I can't give you the basketball if you're the last one down the court. I don't. I don't. Yeah. What do we? I guess that's my point. Is like, I don't.
Can I reference this? Because I think you're making an excellent point. Utah Jazz game, the rebirth of Point Zion 2 seasons ago. Yeah. Right. I ain't never seen that motherfucking player before in my life. Zion looked like Junior Gillette, right? I'm talking about just sprinting. Yeah, I know. Sprinting, right? Like, he looked totally different, because he knew, like, in the game before that, you're like, look at Zion half-assing it again, but he's so good he can get away with it, but he's half-assing it again. But then you see him as the guy. It's literally a totally different player. Like he transformed, and the motherfucker only took like 10 shots that night. That, to me, even with Queen on that last possession, I saw him. It's not his one possession. It is one, but I saw him sprint up the court accompanying Antonio Reeves, and he wasn't rewarded. And that's where that commentary comes from, when it's like, well, damn, they don't pass the ball. Like,
One
you know
time,
what I'm
though,
saying?
run to the front of the
I just
rim.
can't.
Like
Yeah,
you're 6'10", you're 250. Run to the front of the
that-
rim. Like and make yourself available. Get an easy shot for yourself. Like don't
that
have
to me is
work.
more.
You ain't
That to
gotta
me is
put the
more
ball-
problematic. Yeah, of the player than of the organization
I
or the
understand it.
strategy or anything.
I do understand it.
My bad.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Nah, I was gonna say let's take a little commercial. That's when this company burger ad for my dog Justin, who not here. And then man, we gave him an hour 5 on a Saturday, bro. Let's get into the fans' questions and get the fuck out of here. All right.
Company Burger is the official burger of Pro Pels Talk and Boot Crew Media. Located at 4600 Ferret Street, Company Burger has been locally owned and operated for 11 years. Grind the meat, bake the buns, make the mayo, get the homemade tots. Company Burger uses Creekstone Farms prime beef to create the best burger in the city with milkshakes to go and a full bar. Company Burger is open every day besides Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Can't make it out? No worries, we have you covered. You can order online right now at thecompanyburger.com or check them out on the Toast or Uber Eats app. Company Burger, the official burger of Boot Crew Media.
Yeah. Grub, you was about to say something before we went to commercial?
No, the only thing I was gonna say is like, did y'all know the Pelicans have now lost 8 straight summer league games?
Makes sense.
They haven't won one since their next to last summer league game in 2023. They lost all 5 last season. They've lost 2 so far this season. They've lost 8 straight summer league games.
It can't just be anecdotal. Like everything can't be.
Let's see. Oh, matter of fact, hold up. Shout out to Michael Morgan, man. Shout out to Mike, man. Appreciate you, Mike. Is Joe evaluating the whole coaching staff? Anybody who want to answer that, y'all can have it.
I think if I don't know how much more evaluation he needed, but to be fair, he deserves a chance to. Look, man, a poisonous tree can't bear righteous fruit. At the end of the day, this staff should have been replaced. And I'm just keeping it $1. This staff, again, when this team don't got a bunch of upperclassmen on the summer league, it's gonna look the same way. When the roster don't have a bunch of high-end talented players running out there like Zion and BI and Trey and all these dudes, it's gonna look bad. They never gonna have no coaching advantage, period. Like, and that's just what this staff is. It's not a coincidence. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think he is, because Queen is this guy. He gambled on him, and he ain't gonna let too much compromise his gamble, I don't think.
Word. Shout out to Brennan Aberley. You right, dog. And I'm sorry, we ain't hold Justin down probably tonight. We gonna work on the film. We gonna look at the film. We gonna do better. Shout out to E. E says Coach Green will be fired by January. February. Brewer is green light, and it's a continuation of Willie. We only run ISO and pick and roll. No ball movement, no cutting to the basket, etc. Anybody want to take on that when y'all have at it?
Antonio Reeves cut to the basket in the first quarter. I guarantee you that wasn't a part of the play. I guarantee you that wasn't an action. Like a smart basketball player made a smart basketball play in that moment. There was another cut earlier. Dude just bobbled the ball. I mean,
look, other teams be able to cut because Pelicans all standing with their hands down at the free throw line while teams just drive right behind them and cut right behind them. And you see inbound plays where the other team, you ain't even bumping anybody. They're just going straight to the bucket and throw it in. Like that part of it, just their lack of resistance to other teams. It's like we can talk about, you can strategize all you want, but if these dudes don't pay attention to the little things, like again, 90% of these dudes will not even be in the NBA in 2 weeks. You won't ever hear from them again. You know what I'm saying? But the 5 or 6 that we are paying attention to, when you're on the court, like you got 3 two-way guys on here. And the two and Quinones has played like he's worth his two-way. He's taking good shots. He's made his shots. But to me, it's like, the rest of it, you're relying on the guys who already know what they are to score points. and nobody else really is trying to do anything. Nobody else is showing any athleticism. And that's the thing for this team, too, is as much as they lack height, this is a team without super athletes in a lot of positions, man. You don't have a ton of superior athletes on the Pelicans. Like, who are we talking about? Zion is a superior athlete, but undersized. Trey is a superior athlete. And then who? Like, who are your athletes on this team that can run faster than anybody, that can jump higher than anybody? Like, you saw that with these Lakers dudes. They're throwing lobs and dunking on the Pelicans, and the Pelicans don't have that kind of explosive athleticism.
Shout out to West Bank. Y'all know how hard it is to have 0 assists and a half?
No, I'm speechless because, and that's what I mean when I, just kind of alluded to it in the last thing. Like, this is a player issue. Like, we have all played. Well, I can't speak for y'all. I never played basketball with any of y'all, but like, you know how many games of pickup I've played in my life? In every one of them motherfuckers, I've had an assist. Every single one. Like, and you play with other players where you know, like, this dude knows how to play. Or you play with people that you say, this motherfucker doesn't know how to play. It doesn't mean they're not better than, if I played one-on-one with a million different people, there's a shitload of them that I think fucking suck at basketball that would beat me in one-on-one. But we ain't, but NBA basketball, not one-on-one. It's 5-on-5. And you have to know where to move. You have to know how to move. You have to know what other people are thinking. You have to think about what other people are thinking. You got to know how to work off of your teammate. There is IQ involved in some of this. To not have an assist is crazy. Like, it's crazy. It's unspeakable. Like, I don't. Yes, I know how hard it is because it seems almost fucking impossible. It seems like it shouldn't be possible. So you should be able to just throw the ball up in the air, and one of your teammates eventually will catch it and shoot a ball in at some point in a half of basketball. It's crazy.
Y'all ever notice? Let's say Elfrid Payton, right? Who's a hell of a passer. He comes to the team. You're like, damn, Elfrid Payton look better than Jose at the guard, right? You know why? Elfrid Payton ain't been coached by Willie Green the entirety of his career. Or Brandon Boston. Damn, Brandon Boston bring the ball up, distribute, do his thing. He look a little better than Jose. You know why? Because Brandon Boston. that's the thing. Was it's like when you start doing like deductions, you're like, all right, well, does Jeremiah Fears, does he suck? Can he just not pass the ball? Like, nah, that ain't it. Derek Queen, does he suck? Can he just not pass the motherfucking ball? Like, nah, that ain't it. What's Antonio Reeves? Does he just suck? Can he not pass the motherfucking ball? Nah, that ain't it. At a certain point, the common denominator kind of goes back to like, can we generate some easy looks? Can we start, can we put these guys in advantageous positions? In interest of fairness, maybe they had a good pass, they got fouled, and this just doesn't count. Just to add some nuance. But at the same time, it is like, dog, I done seen this movie so many times. I can tell you how this motherfucker ends. It's just, dog, like they didn't do this cut like on accident. Like, these producers get a lot of money. This cut wasn't on accident.
How many possessions have we seen where the ball literally never was passed? I would have a hard time coaching a summer league team that had 0 assists in the first half and not in the second half.
And they come on, man. Like, come on, man. Like, nah, you can accidentally get an assist. Ice Cube had a triple-double. Like, these coaches stink, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real, dog. These, man. Nah,
Chaz, I could put Elfrid Payton on that summer league team and literally tie his right arm around his back and make him play with only a left hand, an entire game with only a left hand, and he would get an assist. And that ain't got it. And I could be coaching. I could be the head coach.
No,
and that would still happen. That would still happen.
Elfrid Payton already knows how to play. That's the point I'm making, though.
But if you don't get to the NBA and ask your summer league coach to teach you how to play, what are we talking about?
You can't get in transition and complete a single. I mean, the Lakers had 24 assists.
No, 24 assists. This is what I'm saying, though, right? With these guys, with these rookies, because again, the most successful teams the Pelicans have had in the summer league have been upperclassmen. With these particular rookies, if one being 18, the other one being Derek Queen, whatever, right? we had Antonio Reeves running point, but in this situation, right? If the players got to have it all figured out with 1 year college basketball, and I'm gonna say no NBA head coaching to this point, if they got to have it all figured out, and this is like the Lakers' fifth or sixth game because they played in like the California thing. Yeah. But if they got to have it all figured out, again, why we need coaches? Just roll the motherfucking ball.
Nobody's saying. Nobody's saying they got to have it all figured out. You're not making. See, you'd be making unfair comparisons. Nobody said they got to have it all figured out. But if you can't get one assist, that is not on the coaches. Y'all don't know how to do a basic 3-man weave to run your lane in the transition.
They're not calling any plays. There's no plays.
That's not coaching.
There's not even a system in place, Jazz.
Nobody's running an offense.
Look, in the regular season, I agree with you. I really do. We agree on pretty much everything in the regular season because a lot of what I consider to be the coaching issue in the regular season is no adjustments. They'll be winning a game at halftime, make no adjustments, and you lose. And because we've seen that happen a million times. Like you're right in a sense. In the summer, there is no coaching because there is no coaching. Like, yeah, you're right. They don't need a coach. There is no they just got to Vegas 4 days ago. Like, there's no, I can't put any of, the fact that they didn't get an assist, I can't put on a coach because, again, I say it, and I would put, if this was a bet in Vegas and I was there and they let Elfrid Payton play point guard for 20 minutes of a summer league game with his hand tied behind his back, he would get an assist. And you could put him on any team in the whole summer league, and I would make that bet. I'd say, no, he's going to get an assist. That doesn't have anything to do with any coach that's at anything. So I can't. No, like it's about the play. Like that. This is about the summer league. Is about the players. It is 110% about the players. I will argue that. I will argue with that. We can stay for 2 more hours. I'm gonna keep arguing about that.
I understand.
Y'all gonna be by yourself because I'm gonna end this shit right now. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night. We getting the fuck out of here.
We suck.